What's up, everyone, and welcome to another CosRePlay. Last time I did one of these, it was Dokuga from Dorohedoro, but now we're going to revisit a very different character, N from Dorohedoro. N is a character that I've been doing for a very long time, since 2016? The wig has been restyled a couple different times, but I have been using the same mask. The mask has been repainted a couple different times, but I figured we've been using this skeleton half face, which I modified with the nose piece and obviously added the things to make it ends. But my one issue with it is it always sat too big on my face, just a little bit. So when the wig's on, then this is here, it just looks a little bulky. So what I want to do is make a custom mask that is a lot more form-fitted to my face, the way it is in the anime. I've started on it already. Courtney did an amazing job at helping me restyle that wig. Cue wig restyling. Back from the wig restyling. This is what we've started so far. This is a head mold that I made of my head out of duct tape. I think I originally made it because I was going to start a Destiny Hunter build. Never did that, but it ended up being the template for a lot of my other things, like my Slade helmet. I actually put saran wrap on my face, and we started with a base of foam clay. This stuff basically dries to be almost like EVA foam within 48 hours. We molded a nose on. We mapped out where the teeth are gonna go, which I ordered some realistic resin teeth that we're gonna put in there. We built up the jawline a little bit. Now we're gonna have to sand it down so it's all nice and clean, and then I think we'll move into painting. We'll make the hardware and figure out how we're gonna attach it. So let's get started on this CosRePlay. Play the Home Depot theme. Alright, that's probably enough video of me sanding. That was not as graceful as I wanted it to be. We made some progress. We got it all sanded down. Unfortunately, I sanded down a little bit of my tooth markings, but that's fine. I've determined that probably the best way to go about it is it's foam. So literally pressing the teeth into the foam where they're gonna go, maybe taking them out, putting some glue on it and pressing it back in is gonna be the best way to do it. So we're gonna do some more painting. But what we also did, gave it some nice angular lines. We didn't go as angular on top because we're gonna want a little bit of that excess material to do the hardware on top like we have here. But I did go over it with a layer of Plastidip. I was a little worried about this being too thin, maybe getting unnecessary holes in it. So the Plastidip's gonna help a little bit with that, and then, you know, the extra layers of paint will also help. I think what we're gonna do next is we're gonna do a coat of this red paint, and then we'll get to mapping out the hardware, gluing that on, and I think we're gonna do the teeth last. And then after we do the teeth, we'll do some touch-up paint, some touch-up details. But as you can see, a lot more form-fitting to my face. If in case you're wondering what we did use for the base, it is this air dry foam clay. This stuff is fantastic. It molds kind of like moon sand, like a poly clay. It's kind of stretchy. It dries like craft foam. It sands like craft foam. I'm pretty sure it will heat mold similar to craft foam as well. So good stuff. Sponsorship. Email me. Getting a side-by-side comparison so far on the size difference. We've got the big bulky, and now we've got the nice slender one that we've been working on. Then we'll have to attach how the mask is being worn. That will probably end up just being a cannibalized face mask. So we've let things dry. We now have a coat of red paint on there. This isn't probably the final color. This is just more to like cover everything. I think I'm actually gonna get a lot of the hardware attached and then go back and paint. But that's what we're figuring out right now. We're gonna make the hardware, out of 3mm craft foam. Based on my judgment of it, it's just thick enough to give it a little bit of a raisedness, but not so much that's gonna look big and bulky. Another thing I realized, referencing the anime pictures to the manga pictures, when I made this mask, there was no anime. This was created based on the manga interpretation of N, whereas this mask, I'm trying to use a little bit of both influence, a little bit of the anime, a little bit of the manga. The upper hardware is a little less angular in the anime. It also had this rivet here, which it doesn't have in the anime. So I think I am gonna go a little bit more anime with the hardware, because why not? I already did a manga mask. I'm gonna get that cut out. I'm still trying to figure out what glue I want to use. I thought I had some E6000 laying around, but I don't know where it's at. So we either wait and go buy some, or we do the cosplayer thing and just use what we got. So it might be hot glue. We might find some Gorilla Glue in a junk drawer somewhere that's like half dried up. Who knows? Pretty much anything will stick the foam to the foam. I'm not too much worried about the hardware. I am a little bit more worried about the resin teeth and how they're gonna adhere to the foam. Obviously, hot glue might be a little difficult for that. It's bigger and messier. It's gonna leak through the cracks and stuff trying to press it in. I'm gonna burn my fingers, but we'll find out. We're gonna measure this out, get it all cut up, and we're almost out. We let the screws, rivets, whatever you want to call them, we made them out of the air dry foam clay. We attached them with a little dab of hot glue. We've got all the red parts taped off now because we're going to hit it with a little bit of silver spray paint. And then we're going to go over everything else with a little bit of acrylic. And then we'll pretty much be done other than placing the teeth in. I think if I try to Dremel the spots for it, too much risk of messing it up. And I want it to be as flush as possible. So I really am thinking the best method is just maybe even hitting it with the heat gun a little bit and then just pressing them in. You would probably hit that with some kind of Plastidip or sealer or something. I hit them with the heat gun and I think that sealed them enough. Again, these aren't tutorials. These are just how I'm doing things. There's probably a million other correct ways you could be doing things, but I'm all about results. So let's get them silvered up. All right, so we've got the mask basically done minus the teeth. We've got the teeth, E600 to glue it in. We've got the heat gun. Probably not the best place to keep the heat gun. And we're gonna heat it up, press the teeth in, glue them with the E600, and then we just gotta put the glue straps on the inside and we're all done. So let's get to it. Okay, so we got the teeth glued in. And with that, the end mask is basically done. I gotta see how this dries. I might workshop drilling some real tiny, like, breathing holes. And then obviously gluing that in. I think I'm gonna let this sit for a minute though and let the teeth really kind of finish drying. E6000 is a little bit corrosive, so it did kind of melt a little bit of the acrylic paint and stuff that was over it. I was kind of anticipating that because I want it to sink into the mask. I don't want them jutting out as much. And we just gotta get the straps on and we'll be wearing this to Savannah Comic-Con.
What's up, everyone? I don't remember the last progress I filmed on this, but we got the mask done.
Basically, we just glued like a regular, your standard mask. We glued it up the bands a little bit just so it would pull the mask in a little tighter. And now I can take it on and off in cosplay, unlike my old mask that had the band in the back that had to go under the wig. Couldn't do that as easily.
We're at my booth. I think the next thing I'll probably want to do for him is get his cloak, like his accurate cloak with the big funny collar, maybe some extra mushroom stuff. We'll see you at the next CosRePlay.